Going to come and open for you this evening. He's come all the way from Gloucester, and he's waiting in the wings to come on, and you're going to love him. He has been to Hungerford before. We did a gig in the rugby club about 3 or 4 years ago, Nick, I think it was, wasn't it? Something like that. And Nick came and headlined that for us, and I've just been biding my time and waiting for my chance to get him back to come to Hungerford, and he's here with you this evening. So as you welcome, yes, well, get it going, why not? Welcome Nick Hill to the stage. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad I decided to wear all black tonight. And before we go on, I think we should give a round of applause to Stu, our builder, for turning up on the right day. And on time. That was a bit awkward with you being out of a job, Mike, wasn't it? That was...
Not for me.
Not for you, no. And I just love the fact that Graham's Googled everybody in the room, like, Hungerford stalker is... Oh, that's weird. For those of you that, might be disappointed that your opening act isn't a fresh-faced London comic with their hilarious tales about life on the underground. Yeah, right. And instead, what you've got is a bit of a mix of an extra out of a Lord of the Rings movie, Donna Style, and a bastardised version of Toby Jones who starred in Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. It's just... And I stand before you as a man who in 6 months' time qualifies for a free bus pass, bitter, disappointed, full of sarcasm, and the realisation that this is as good as it's going to get. And the only saving grace I've got is that when it all kicks off, I am not going to be conscripted. But just looking round at the demographic in this room, I think I'm in with a fair chance to be quite honest. And before I came out today, my wife said, have you done any research on Hungerford? And I know Graham's already mentioned Hog Tide and the thing of what that actually is. And I've come prepared tonight. So what I'll be doing in the interval... So 6 lucky ladies, and then I thought, hang on a minute, if I can get a kiss for an orange, am I going to get a grope for a grapefruit? I thought that was good when I wrote that. So you all seem lovely, you all seem really nice and very grounded, because not all audiences are like this. I did a gig in a place called Ashton Keynes near Cirencester just before Christmas, and I just went on and said, oh, it's lovely to be here in Ashton Keynes. And this lady put her hand up, she said, excuse me, young man. I know it's spelt Keynes, but here in the village we prefer to pronounce it Keynes. I hope you don't mind. No, that's fine by me. I said, does make you sound a bit of a pretentious cant. I said, that's spelt C-A-N-T, but in my village... And she got up and left, which was good. I've realised I've been doing comedy 20 years this April. And when I started, I had dreams, I had ambitions. I thought, maybe a tour, maybe TV, maybe live at the Apollo. And here I am on a Friday night hoping I'm going to get a kiss for an orange. But I need to share something with you, because this morning my agent phoned me. He said, Nick, are you doing anything next week? I went, no, not the minute, I'm free. He said, great. Can you do a gig at the O2? I went, yeah, brilliant, I'll do a gig at the O2. Hang on, I haven't finished. I said, what do you mean? He said, can you do a gig at the O2 shopping Gloucester because their manager's leaving? There's going to be about 5 people there, but I thought, My best year in comedy was a couple of years ago, 2022. I went to the Leicester Comedy Festival and I entered a competition which was called the Silver Stand-Up. And I won, basically, I won it. Normally that gets a round of applause, but fuck you. Let me just temper your expectations. It's a competition aimed at the over 55s, right? No upper age limit. Backstage, I've got to be honest, it was like God's waiting room for comedians. One act, he was just going to go on, and we looked at him, and he was sort of slumped in a chair, eyes closed. I'm like, oh my God, is he asleep or dead? And then somebody suggested waking him. I'm like, no, don't wake him. Let him sleep, because it'll improve our chances. And I got through to the final, and I just did my 5 minutes, and I won. And I got on the phone straight away to my wife. I said, you'll never guess, after 4 years of trying, I've only gone and won. And she's like, oh, that's fantastic. What have you won? Because obviously I'm married to somebody from Mumbai. And I said, I've won a trophy. Right, anything else? I said, no, just a trophy. A couple of hours later, I'm back and I'm showing her the trophy. She said, well, that's very nice, but I'll ask you again, have you won anything else? I said, no, it's just this trophy. Thing is, she said, I've been on the website. Oh, fuck, have you? When were you going to tell me about the £500 cash prize for the win? I was gutted, because I had that lined up for something else. And she was like, what have I told you all through our marriage? I said, I don't know, there's been so many things it's hard to remember, to be quite honest. She said, never lie. And she's right. Of course she's right. You shouldn't lie. But sometimes telling the truth isn't always the best idea either. She went on a cruise last April with her girlfriend Chris for a week, and she phoned me on the Wednesday. You all right? Oh, yeah, fine, thanks. Are you missing me? I remember what she said, don't lie. So I was like, no. And she started clutching at straws. She said, well, I bet the dog's missing me. He wasn't. He was loving life. He was sleeping on my bed. I was feeding from the table. We were down the pub. We went and got tattoos. Well, I did. And I know he can't speak, but it was on the Friday, the day before she was going to come back, and we were just in the pub, and he was just sat there looking at me, and I could read his mind. He was just looking up and saying, oh, Dad, this me and you thing, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. She's coming back tomorrow, isn't she? Mm-hmm. Why don't we just move and not tell her where we go? So no, we can't do that. We did dry January this year. Still drank, just no sex. And then we celebrated. I've got to be honest. She's not a happy woman generally. I mean, it was her birthday this morning, and I got her a spa day. I thought that would be nice, but apparently she hates grocery shopping. You just can't win, can you? You just can't win. We've been married 24 years this year, and she was moaning about sort of lack of romance in our relationship. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, maybe on the odd occasion when we're being intimate, it'd be nice to have some music playing just to break the silence. So I thought, she's got a fair point. So we were getting down to it, and I recorded some songs. I put the first track on, Make It With You by Bread. I thought, that'll do, that'll put us in the right mood. I've got to be honest, I think my choice of song number 2 somewhat killed it, the theme from Match of the Day. But and this is how bad our relationship is, right? I mean, we're not very adventurous in the bedroom, and we were watching a film a couple of weeks ago, and it was a film about a jail, and in it, the one guy was going to smuggle drugs into the jail by wrapping them in plastic and shoving them up his bum. And I'm at one end of the settee, and Lynn's at the other, and she's watching this. She said, oh, look at that. That's not very realistic, is it? What? She said, well, doing that, wrapping them in plastic and shoving them up his bum. Isn't it? No, because she said, we know how hard it is to get something up there, don't we? And I'm like, we do. And she went, oh no, it wasn't you. She was moaning, she said, there's no surprises in our relationship either. And again, I took that on board. So the other night, she was in the bathroom getting ready. I went into the bedroom, turned the lights off, lit some candles, hid under the bed. And when she came in, I just grabbed her ankles. And apparently that wasn't the surprise she had in mind. But she did surprise me just before Christmas because she said, you have remembered you're picking me up from my work stool tomorrow. That came as a total surprise because she's self-employed and works from home. I was like, no, that's fine, I'll do that. So I got to the allocated place at the right time. She got in the car and all I said was, have a nice time. And then I got, are you saying I'm drunk? Oh, don't start. No, I'm not saying you're drunk, but clearly you've had one or two. And then I got the classic, I don't think you love me anymore. Oh, God. All right, okay. She said, in fact, I don't think you ever loved me. I said, well, I do. I have. Obviously, there's no guarantees going forward. She said, well, if you love me, you can prove it right now. How am I going to do that? She said, you can get on top of me in this car and make love to me. I said, well, that is not going to happen. She said, give me one good reason why not. I said, I'll do better than that. I'll give you 3. She said, go on then. I said, well, number 1, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Number 2, we're still outside Wetherspoons in the middle of Gloucester. And number 3, we've got your girlfriend Chris in the back of the car because we're giving her a lift home. And that's the thing, she's got a girlfriend, she went on that cruise I mentioned earlier on for a week. I didn't say a word about that. I wanted one night away with my girlfriend to spend that £500 with. The shit I got from that was just ridiculous. I retired last year in 2023, so I've just gone through a year of being with my wife pretty much 24/7. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. And if you have, I'd like to know how you know my wife, but it's been quite hard, I've got to be honest. We've got to a stage, I'd probably call it like an irritating stage more than anything. To be fair, it's nothing major. The breathing. And if we're out in the car and we're coming up to a junction and I want to turn right, I'll say, is it safe to go? And she'll go, yeah. And as I'm pulling out, if you're quick, but I've discovered things in this past 12 months about her that I didn't know. I've discovered that she is Mr. Vocation. She's Mr. True Vocation in musical theatre. Because what I've discovered is she can make a fucking song and dance about anything. It's just... And the other thing I found, what we've been doing a lot of in the last 12 months is visiting garden centres. Is that just a thing that happens when you get older? We've got one near us and we seem to be there every other day. I've got a loyalty card with them now. And we went there on my birthday in August and I went to buy a coffee and I gave her the loyalty card. And she put the details in. She said, oh, happy birthday. I said, well, how do you know that? She said, well, it's come up on your loyalty card. That's good news, isn't it? I said, no, not really, no. Well, it is, she said, because now you qualify for one of our senior citizens discount card. And I'm thinking, just fucking shoot me now. That's... I said, do I have to pay for that? She said, no, they're free. I said, oh, and I just snatched it off her and I didn't pay any attention. I went and sat down. And then he's like, what have you got? I said, oh, it's a senior citizen discount card. She said, well, what's the benefits of that? I said, well, she said you get 40% off a roast lunch. She said, do you? I said, I don't know, I'll have a look. And I looked on the card, and she was right. You do get 40% off a roast lunch. Every Monday served between 9:30 and 11:15 a.m. And I'm thinking, who the fuck eats a roast lunch? Every Monday between 9:30 and 11:15. Well, let me tell you, since August, we sat down in January and talked about New Year's resolutions, because I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at keeping New Year's resolutions. And Lynn suggested, well, maybe if we make resolutions for each other, we'd be more inclined to keep them. She said, so you go first, you tell me everything that's wrong with me. Yeah. So I didn't fall into that trap. I said, and I'll tell you the things you need to change. I said, sorry? She said, I think this is the year you need to change a few things. I said, well, like what? She said, well, the main one is you need to be less angry. And she is sort of right, but I don't mind sharing with you, Hungerford. I've got issues. Well, I say issues, let's call them by their proper name, shall we? Children. 28, 41 and 43. You'd think by now I'd know their names, but... And we were sat having Christmas dinner, and I happened to mention I'd watched a BBC documentary about the Antarctic, and I inadvertently used the word Eskimos. And all three girls just rounded on me. They were like, oh, that is so shocking, that word. I said, it's just a word I grew up, it doesn't mean anything. And they were like, it's racist, it's discriminatory, but you wouldn't understand that because you've never been discriminated against, have you? I said, whoa, hang on a minute. I said, right, let me tell you something right now. I applied for a gig last year in Bristol, and the advert said, acts wanted, particularly those of LGBT or POC persuasion. I phoned up, said, I'm interested in the gig. They said, are you LGBT? I said, no. They said, are you POC? I said, I've got to be honest, I don't really know what that means. They said, a person of colour. I said, I am your man. What colour are you? I said, ginger. They put the phone down. I suffered, I've got to be honest, I suffered as a kid being ginger, mainly with the name calling, Carrot Top, Ginger Nut, Copper Knob, you little ginger wanker. And I can remember saying, Dad, just leave it out. I was thinking of my dad the other day because I was watching something on YouTube, and again, the older demographic would probably get this. We used to have World of Sport on a Saturday, and around 4 o'clock there was wrestling on, proper wrestling, with some real characters. And afterwards, me and my dad, and I'd be about 6, 7, we'd have a pretend wrestle, and I'd try and pin his shoulders down to the floor for the count of 3. And at the last minute, he always managed to pop one of his shoulders up. And I think, with hindsight, he was trying to teach me a life lesson, and that being, no matter how hard things get, just keep persevering. And when you finally manage to do something, the feeling you'll get will be brilliant. And he was right, because I can remember the day I managed to pin his shoulders down for the count of 3 it was fantastic. He was 92 and in a care home. Suffering with brittle bone disease, but a win's a win. But it wasn't just my father. My mother was equally as cruel. I can remember I came home. We'd just gone back to school after the Christmas break, and it was January 1963. I was 5. I came home and Mum was in the kitchen, bottle of sherry in one hand, consulate cigarette in the other hand. She was a classy lady. And I said, Mum, can I ask you a question? She said, what is it? I said, well, all the other little boys were talking about the presents they had on Christmas Day. She went, and? I said, well, I didn't get any presents Christmas Day, did I? She went, no. And there's a very good reason for that. I said, what is it? I was 5, right? Remember that? And she looked me straight in the eye and just said, Santa don't stop for ginger kids. Which... it's harsh, isn't it? To be fair, all my 3 girls are ginger. I've never spent a penny of them at Christmas. It's been fantastic. I'm not keen on this getting older business, I've got to be honest. I was all right when I got to 50, because when you get to 50, what happens? A special call centre goes into operation, and they just send you stuff in the post about free life assurance. That's fine, I could deal with that. You get to 60, another call centre goes into operation, and through the post, funeral plans, right? I know a little bit about funeral plans because my mum died in 2019 and she had a funeral plan with the co-op, and as a last surviving son, I had to go in and sort it out. So I went in, told the lady, oh, I'm Nick Hill, Gene Hill's